Good afternoon, traders. This is Kevin Craney with RJO Futures with your afternoon financial market update. Markets again quiet as we go through the dog days of August here. In the cash S&P, just about flat on the day, down at 1418. And we in the NASDAQ actually down about flat as well at 3076. For the Treasury market, if we look at 10-year yields, we're actually flat on the day, still at 181 basis points, and 30-year yields actually down about 2 bips at 292 basis points. So really not a lot of action on the day. Probably the big news flow of the day, certainly when we look over at Europe, we did see some news out of the Der Spiegel magazine over the weekend that the ECB may come out and try and cap interest rates for Spain and Italy on the long end of the curve. And certainly this fueled some expectation that the ECB may take some further action, but Germany was quick to come out and throw a little bit of water on that as well. So again, you have this back and forth, and you can see that there's still some big differences between policymakers for different countries and exactly where the ECB may be at in terms of what they're pointing to. All that being said, we did see Spanish yields at 622 basis points, so certainly still below that 700 basis point level. Italian yields still at 575 basis points. What we're seeing really in the U.S. Treasury futures here is we are seeing that market really trying to put in a bit of a consolidation pattern after a large sell-off here lately, and certainly we'll want to watch and see if this is a new trading range, if it can continue to hold into this trading pattern, particularly on the 30-year bonds, or if this is just a consolidation before next leg lower. At the moment right now, it really points, a lot of analysts and private forecasters point to the Fed maybe locked in a box where they cannot actually do any additional quantitative easing. And that's part of what this market sell-off has been in treasuries thus far, is the fact that maybe we don't see a QE and any indication of that at the Jackson Hole meeting here at the end of the month, or any QE at this next meeting in September. All eyes are on it to wait and see what happens, but for the moment we see consolidation, and it may be something to take advantage of both through futures and some option plays. Please give me a call at 888-596-5817 and we can discuss these opportunities and others. And as always, remember, futures trading is not suitable for everyone and does carry a high degree of risk.